Hello and welcome, season's greetings. We're back today for day 17, December 17th of our 24-day Advent calendar. We are working in the book Golden Advent Calendar by Ursula Schwab. And let's open up day 17. Okay. Day 17, we will be doing... Oh my goodness. This is the same mandala that we did on day 16. Let me go and Google this. I'm a little bit confused and find out what we're going to do. Okay, we have a bit of a dilemma here. The directions here are for making a star. We're supposed to be cutting things out that look like that and joining them together to make a star. However, what has been printed is the exact same mandala from day 16, which we've already completed. And this was the most intricate mandala I have ever colored, so I definitely do not want to do it again. So instead of this page today, I am going to leave this page and I'm going to pull my second Christmas book out and color a page from that. So the only other Christmas book that I have is The Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien, and I have a buddy color in this book, 2 pages picked out to color with Judith, a subscriber here on YouTube. So I am going to tackle the second page, which is the gingerbread page, and this one was going to be an optional one for us to complete, so I will do that. And what I thought I'd do is I'm going to do a background first and we'll do something fun. Okay, I've got my page prepped and ready. I have my page on top of my glass mat, and I did that because I am going to use my ink blending tool and some ink. I am using the Ranger Lettering Cobalt Blue ink. So I'm just going to ink up my sponge a bit, and I am going to do this with you for a little bit. So here's what it's looking like after one kind of good coat of the blue. I'm now going to come in and do some shading also with a gray, because I plan on putting the stars, and the stars are going to be silver, so they're not going to show up very well with just this blue. So I'm going to deepen the color up a little bit by using some gray. So I'll do the same thing that I was just doing with the blue, only in gray. And I've just got a piece of cardboard that I've cut out roughly the same size of this circle, so that I'm using it as a mask so that I'm not getting any ink onto the image itself. Okay, you'll have to excuse the lighting for a moment. I have finished the second coat, so I'm happy with the color on the background. And now I'm going to bring a moon stencil and I will tape it down so that it doesn't move, but it's basically going to go all the way pretty much halfway around, and I'm going to use a silver metallic gelato, and the color is Silver Ice, and I'm going to use a Dollar Tree brush, and I'm going to stencil that on. I'm rubbing it dry onto my glass mat, and then I'm simply going to come and I'm going to rub it through the stencil onto the page. And I don't want to deposit too much, because I don't want it to build up and have like gobs of stuff underneath. So I'm just going to go over it lightly, and I can let that dry for a minute and then come back if I need to. I hope everybody is having a great day today. I'm using circular brushing motions. So I've decided to come back also with something called iced coffee. It's still in the metallic, and I am going to add a little bit of that as well. The silver, I don't think it's going to show up enough, so I'm just going to add a little bit of iced coffee on top of the silver so that I'm definitely sure that the stars show up. So they've got a good base of the silver, and this iced coffee is just going to be on top a bit. Remember to wash your stencils and your brushes after use. And let's do a reveal. I think that'll look good. We'll let that dry for a little while I go wash my stencils, and we'll be back. So after staring at this background for a little bit, I'm not totally happy with it. I think that it could look a little bit better. So I've gone and still in the metallic gelato set, I've pulled out metallic grape and metallic blueberry. And I thought I would just add a little bit of color without touching the stars, but just adding a little bit of color. So I've grabbed another brush and we'll just add a bit more color to the page. And I'm just going to be selective. I'm not going to use a stencil. I'm just going to lightly go over where there's maybe some lighter spots on the page. And now I'll add a little bit of the blue. And I'm just going to brush my brush off on a paper towel to clean it a bit. I will wash it thoroughly later. And I'm going to pick up some of the blue. And because this is metallic, it'll add a little bit of shine as well. Where the ink was a dull, the metallic will add a bit of shine. And since it is a Christmas page, we're all about shine. And by adding these colors on the background, I will also include these colors on the main page. Okay, I'll do a little bit more and then we'll wait for this to dry. It's been about 15 minutes and that's dry enough. I will avoid any areas by putting a parchment piece of paper down so my hand is not resting on it. We're going to start with the little gingerbread man here. I've got two brown ooh-hoo-hoo markers, one in the word golden brown and the other one in coffee colored. So I'm going to do the overall gingerbread in the lighter golden brown, and then I'll shade using the darker brown for coffee. It will dry lighter. I know it looks pretty dark right now. Okay, the little guy is done. He's going to be drying for a couple of minutes. Not too many streaks, but not fabulous either. I've pulled out my Ranger Liquid Pearl, and I'm thinking I will lightly color the icing, and then I'm going to put the liquid pearl on top. So I'm going to lightly color everything blue because he's a boy gingerbread, and I'll just give it a bright blue color. And then we're going to put the liquid pearl on top, and we're going to let that dry. Here's how our little guy is looking. I am going to apply the liquid pearls to these areas right here. So let's and you can see, so we're gonna leave that dry. I'm not sure how much of underneath will show, so that's why I wanted to do the blue underneath. I'll keep doing this, and then we'll let this dry, and I'll come back in a couple hours and we'll finish the rest of this page. And we're back, and our little gingerbread man is dry. I used the Ranger's liquid pearls on him, and they go down a little bit, but they still are quite puffy. They're raised. You can kind of see if I look on the side. So I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I like the sparkles in the center, and I still have the mouth to do. I didn't do the mouth in case this didn't work out the way I liked, but I'm really happy with it so far. So I'm going to stick some papers back behind the page, and I'm going to continue on with the mouse and the rest of the page. So I'm going to pick out some other colors. I'm going to do gray for the background because he lives in a cave, and I don't think he wallpapers or paints. So let me find a good gray. I've decided to go with a cool gray and also a gray lavender. So this is a Blick Studio and this is an Ohuhu. So what I'm doing is the walls are gray, and then the shadows are going to be the gray lavender, and that's because I want to bring in a bit of lavender to the page because I also had some purple on the outside. So I'm just trying to bring in a bit of the color from the background, trying to go all in the same direction and keep my strokes slow and even so that I'm getting less streaks. Now, while that's still a little bit wet, I'm going to come in with the purple and add the shadows. So I'll continue on with the rest of this area, and then we'll get on to our little mouse friend. Selecting a darker gray for the floor area, as I imagine that the floor is a little bit darker than the wall. For this area right here, I brought in the lighter gray halfway down because I imagine that there's some wall behind him, so I didn't make it all dark gray. So I think it looks like a good transition there. I'm going to do just a little bit of this pink along here. And underneath where there will be shadow. Okay, I think we're ready to do our mouse. Let's pick out some colors. Okay, I'm ready to work on our mouse. I have selected 2 light flesh colors, and I'm going to do his tail in that. So this is the Zig marker, and it is in the color pale pink. And then I'm going to also use the Uhu marker in color 489, and it's just a little bit of a darker pink, and I'm just going to go along the edge on both sides, just trying to give it a bit of dimension so that his tail doesn't look flat. And we'll let that dry. I'm also going to do his feet. And he only has one foot. I'll do his nose and his hands. And I think he's eating a cookie, so we'll come back and color that. And I'm going to do the inside of his ear. And then I will come back in with the darker pink just to do a little bit darker right at the start of his ear. For the rest of the little mouse, I'm going to use an Uhu marker, and it is in the shade 7502, which is called Khaki. And then I've brought in 2 polychromos. I've brought in Brown Ochre 182 and Raw Umber 180. So I'm going to do overall with the khaki color, and then come in with the polychromos to do some shading and give him a little bit more definition. The furnace has kicked in, so I will try and keep this conversation short. I'm using 182 brown ochre at the moment, and I'm going right over top and putting down a first layer of where there should be darker colors on him. So his arms, his forehead area, his legs. I'll keep blending this in, and we'll be back. Now using my darker color, the Raw Umber 180, and I am doing short strokes, so adding little fur texture to the areas that I had already previously colored. So I sharpen my pencil quite a bit, and then I'm doing lines in the same direction that I imagine his fur would be, and that the illustrator has given us. Okay, it's a little darker under the hat. And I'm going to give him a blue hat to match the blue sparkles on his friend Mr. Gingerbread. So let me pick out the same blue that I used for that. Hoping it's this blue. I didn't put it back, so close enough. So he's going to have a blue hat, but the fringe on his hat, the little fur area, will be white, and I'll of course add some sparkle to it. Okay, now the furnace has stopped, so it'll be quieter. Okay, I've missed some pieces on his ears, so I'll fill that in with the pencil and just lightly go over his ear. Okay, this is looking good. I see that there is some type of window frame there, and I would imagine that would be also brown, so I'll quickly color that. Okay, there's only a few things left to do on the page, so I am going to make his mouth pink, just very light pink. And I am going to make the cookie, going to make it brown. And then I think the cookie should have some icing on it, a little bit of sparkle. I'm also going to put some sparkle on the hat and the pom-pom, and then we're going to let him dry and see if we need to do anything else to the page. So I'm just going to use the clear stickles and just smear it around. I'm also going to put some stickles on the cookie so that it's iced. So just a little bit of sparkle, not over. So thank you for coming along on this alternate experience today. I still wanted to complete something today so that we had day 17. So I think this was a good alternative, and it got me to do something in this book as well. Okay, this is a final look at the page. As always, we take a quick look at our page. I'm going to bring it up, show you the stars the glitter. Really happy with using the liquid pearls as icing. I think that was the best turnout. I'm really happy with this page. I love how you have some different colors in the background and the stars are just subtle. So thank you for coming along. Here are the supplies that we used today. We used a variety of Oohoo markers, a Blick marker, a Zig marker, a couple of polychromos. But most importantly, we used 2 colors of stickles, some ink, a blending tool, 2 brushes, the gelato set for the metallics, the stencil, and the star of the show was Ranger's Liquid Pearl. So thank you very much for coming. Thanks for spending the time, and I hope to see you guys on day 18. Have a wonderful day today. Bye-bye, everyone.